No, that's not Kenny G. We're going to get this thing started here in a little bit. We got preseason game to talk about. We've got some preseason games tonight. Please take the time to share this video into your networks. Give us a like. Throw us a like in there. Say hello in the comments. All right.
Like that!
Pew, pew, pew. Woo! Woo!
You like that?
There it is. Oh, gosh. Never gets old. Love watching the Minnesota Vikings lose. Welcome to the program. It's the NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. And here we are
You like that?
on August the 11th, and we have a couple preseason games in the book. We got some preseason games tonight. Follow us on our Facebook page, Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We're also broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions news. Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan, and we're in here, and we want to talk about some football on August the 11th. And if you're on here right now, we really, really appreciate you because you obviously are an avid football fan because we're not technically in the season yet. And we get to watch a bunch of backups play each other and then get pumped up about it and overreact. So welcome to the program. I want to say hi to TJ. What's up, TJ? Hi to Tina. Good morning. Today is the day. Tina is excited. Derek is here. And preseason is here. Thank you, Derek, for joining the program. And then there's Calvin. I'm ready for some football, and I mean Detroit football.
You like that?
And that's going to be happening a little bit later tonight. Sebastian says, good morning, Detroit. Yes, we are the Detroit Lions. We've been awful. We've been awful since 1957, but this is our year. This is our year. They're going to smack around the Vikings this year like they did last year. And there is Tina again. Hello. She is ready. Bear Down Mike is here. He says, good morning. And I know that the Bears, they're playing tomorrow. So we're not going to talk too much about the Bears today. Luckily, since I'm not a Bear fan, I won't have to talk about them till Monday before the show. But I do know that Hallis Hall Report will be doing a show on Sunday to for them to review that game. So make sure you check out Hallis Hall Report right there. But I want to say good morning to everybody. And we had this game yesterday, and it kind of played out how I thought it was going to play. The Minnesota Vikings in Seattle, they go there, they play a preseason game. Not many of the starters. There was no Justin Jefferson. There was really no defensive starters for Seattle. So it was really the second, third team. And really when it came to the second team, it was pretty boring for like the first quarter and a half with really not much going on, not really good football, other than the fact that Minnesota's not very deep. They're not very deep, and it's really starting to show up right there in the preseason. They look lost at times. If you're a fan of Lewis Cine, you're probably not a fan of Lewis Cine anymore. I mean, not looking good there. Andrew Booth looked. I mean, Jamez was in here yesterday saying, "Don't even worry about Andrew Booth." I mean, this guy's playing bad enough that they may cut him from the team, and that would be a big black eye on Kwesi being the guy that drafted that guy. Because when you're getting rid of guys that are, older, that cost the money, I can almost help you right there, Minnesota Viking fan, to justify, getting rid of the big contracts and stuff like that, because you want to go younger. But Kwesi, he drafted Andrew Booth, and he hasn't been good. I mean, at the best case scenario, you can say that he's flashed a couple of good things, but he's not been good. Lewis Cine has not been good. You guys used high draft picks on those guys, and they are not looking good. And when you got blew out in the second half of that game, we're not going to go too far with that. These guys are the guys that are on the bottom of the depth chart. They're fighting for roster spots, but you got a lot of young players on that team, and it doesn't look good. Some of them look confused. The guys don't even know where to line up and everything. So if you're Minnesota Viking fan and you're pumped about the season, what did you think about yesterday? I mean, what did you think about looking at those guys yesterday? I mean, are you still defending? Sebastian says that Kwesi's first draft is terrible. That is the one thing that I won't defend. And yeah, I'm looking at that, and man, it reminds me of some of the Lions teams, because I remember trying to defend some of the moves that the Lions did and then ended up looking really, really dumb coming out. Because I'll admit it, when they brought in Matt Patricia at first, for about 5 games, you start hearing the rumblings of the players not liking them and stuff like that. And, and then they draft these guys, they bring in these guys like Trey Flowers in the Patriot way and all that stuff. And it really reminds me of what the Minnesota Vikings are going through right now, because you have to defend these moves because you're a fan. You have to, if you're an optimistic person like I am, I like to look at the team, and I like to look at all the best possible things that could happen. Brian Flores is trying to scheme pressure with these crazy blitzing 11 guys and everything like that. You're going to get owned if he does that all year. I mean, the good teams pick up the blitzes, and then they find the wide open guys and they kill you. So, I mean, if that's the only way you're going to be able to dial up pressure, it is what it is right there. But all right, I got my friend in here. I got somebody to talk to sitting in the back room. Welcome to the program, Main Event.
Say hello to my little friend.
That's my little friend right there. That's Main Event Mike popping in, having a football conversation, man. I just started running these Minnesota Vikings through the ground, man. I'm glad that you joined the show, that we get to continue this. How you doing, Mike?
Good, yeah. One NFC North preseason game last night. That was Minnesota Vikings. And my prediction, they'd get smoked by the Seahawks, and they did. But the biggest takeaway for me was a couple of the starters that were out there were getting cooked by Seattle. In fact, an undrafted free agent named Bobo blew by cornerback Andrew Booth for a touchdown. And if you can't cover Bobo, you don't have a chance against J-Mo.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, we get to play them at the end of the year, so they get to see both games versus J-Mo. That's going to be great. And you ain't going to do nothing against Amon-Ra either. Like, you're depending on these guys, right? Lewis Cine and Andrew Booth Jr. I mean,
if you go back and watch Jameson Williams highlights from college, he's beaten Lewis Cine repeatedly on like every play. So definitely. You know, and something hit me last night, Russ. The Minnesota Vikings, kudos to them for winning the NFC North. They had a negative point differential. There's been a lot made about that, right? So they win 11 games by one score. They come from behind in 8 games to win. That's just something you can't repeat. It's been said many times, but it really brings to light the mechanisms and the levers that the NFL has pulled to bring competitive balance to the league, right? There's so much parity. The haves and the have-nots, there's not as big a gap between them as there used to be, say, 10 years ago. And it really lends itself to the fact that we could see the Minnesota Vikings go from first to worst. And we could see them lose 8 games in come-from-behind scenarios. We could see them lose 11 games in one-score differential. So definitely the parity in the league has lent itself to an interesting storyline, especially for the Minnesota Vikings. They may be in trouble with that defense just not having enough quality players on it.
Yeah, and technically they should, because the thing is the definition of cap hell is you went all in for the last couple of years with these big players, and all of your good players went out the door. Now, I understand all off season we're pumping up these, it's Brian Flores. He's going to just get all these guys together and they're going to be great. And reality is going to set in for Minnesota Viking fan, because you can't expect a bunch of rookies and, first and second year players should just come in and gel and compete at the highest level against guys that have been doing it for years. These guys, they may end up being good. It does take a minute to develop. Sometimes, like the very first year that the Lions had with, under Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, same type of thing. We had to get rid of Trey Flowers and Shelton and Jamie Collins and just rip these Band-Aids off and be way behind the cap, trying to fill the roster with a bunch of undrafted free agents. Yeah, and I remember the Lions fans, no, it's going to be okay. We got it, then it's going to be fine. Reality is reality right there.
I guess, and there are some bright spots for Minnesota. They got a good quarterback. They've got a steady hand under center. Kirk Cousins, a savvy veteran who can get the ball in the right places, but he's not mobile, and he's not going to extend plays. We saw that in the playoff game against the Giants. There's a knock on him there, but overall, he's a good, solid quarterback. And anytime your quarterback is solid, your team has a chance. Jordan Addison, we've been pretty critical of him and the Vikings for drafting him. He looked good last night. He had 1 catch for 22 yards. He also had a great catch that was called back. He toe-tapped to the line. Had the Vikings challenged it, I firmly believe it would have been a good catch. And that was a great catch. And we may have underestimated this guy. He won the Fred Biletnikoff Award at Pitt. He did have 8 touchdowns at USC. They were underwhelming, in my opinion. But it might turn out to be a good draft pick, and they're going to need offensive firepower with that defense.
Right. And I'm going to bring up this comment right here. And this is good. No Detroit fan should make fun of any team in the North because you've been terrible for years.
You like that?
I'm going to give you 3 on that. You're right. You're right. We shouldn't be making fun of any team, but we are, because for one, we beat the shit out of that team at the end of last year after our team started getting good, and there wasn't anything that they're going to do about it. And we beat the shit out of your team too, twice last year. So we get to make fun of your team. You guys don't get to make fun of it.
Come on, bear down, Mike. You know we can make fun of Packers anytime we want. That's allowed, right?
And we're actually here making fun of Viking fans, so you actually should be on my side with this. Eric Thomas says, what's good, bear down, Mike? So I love that we got the Bear fans in here, that we're being playful, we're being fun right here. Sebastian, the Viking fan, says that they should have taken Kyle Hamilton at 14. I agree, but I disagree with you on depth. I mean, what are you looking at, Sebastian? The depth was out there yesterday. I mean, obviously you had proven that there were 0 people behind Kirk Cousins and your starting lineup that are going to be able to get it done. Like, right. It was awful.
To Sebastian's point, Kyle Hamilton at 14. Kyle Hamilton was there when you had the pick at 12, but you traded with the Detroit Lions to take so we could get Jameson Williams, and you traded back because, we don't need Kyle Hamilton. We can get Lewis Dean at 32 instead. So I agree with you, Sebastian. The Vikings should have taken Kyle Hamilton, but at 12, not 14, because Lewis Dean's going to be a bust.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for some type of silver lining inside of that for the Vikings. But if I'm a Viking fan and I watched that game yesterday, I mean, like one of these guys had said it or said they shut it off after 10 minutes of watching this game. I'm trying to find the comment on there.
Yeah, it's preseason, right, Russ? I mean, we don't take too much stock. The Lions went 4-0 in the preseason in 2008, and they end up losing every game of the regular season.
Yeah, we're not going
that much. And that brings me to my question to you. The Lions, of course, play tonight against the Giants. I mean, to me, it doesn't mean a doggone thing if we win or lose. What about you?
No. What we're looking at is depth. You're looking at your depth right here, because I understand. So, Viking fan, I'm going to build you up right here. Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's not Nick Mullins. You're not going to have to worry about any of the crap that you're looking at Nick Mullins. And pray to the football gods that nothing happens to Kirk Cousins, because you got a good quarterback. You got a good receiver. That was a nice catch by Jordan Addison on the side. You still got Justin Jefferson. Like, all is good with your starting lineup. But right there yesterday, what you saw is what is going to happen the minute that a couple of injuries start to happen, because it's not good after your starting lineup. You have no depth. You can't make it through 18 games without going through some type of injury, because every team does it. So that's where we're at.
Backup running back Ty Chandler, he looked pretty good last night as well. So I know that's a bright spot for Minnesota. Maybe the running back room losing Dalvin Cook isn't as dire as we thought it was, because they have a lot. And of course they've got McBride, the the late round draft pick that they got from UAB, who's looking good in camp so far. So I think that the offense is going to be no joke. They still have a decent line with Christian Darrisaw and a couple others there. So, the offense is not going to be a joke in Minnesota, and they're going to be competitive.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on Ty Chandler. I looked through the stats, and they didn't have any running backs that averaged more than 4 yards a carry yesterday, and 3.7 was Ty Chandler, and that ain't going to get it done in the NFL either. I mean, yeah, he gained some positive yards. He had a couple of plays that were positive, but at the end of the day, 3.7 yards a carry is not going to get it done. Michael says, very sad the announcers did not give the Lions any credit for this year. Your thoughts? They haven't played yet. I don't know what the announcers would have said about the Lions yesterday. What did I miss something? I mean, I don't know. I don't want them to give us any credit anyway. They've given the Lions enough credit in this offseason, plenty of credit this offseason, almost to the point where all of us fans of the Lions are kind of uncomfortable with this because we're not used to this.
It's an extension of the PTSOL.
Yeah, it really is, because, I mean, they're right. Bear down Mike is right. We shouldn't be talking smack because we haven't done anything or anything like that. So I feel him on that. Yeah, Jason's from Florida, from Destin, Florida. Gosh, my old booking agent, Kevin Roberts, is from Destin, Florida. And when I was touring with the band, we'd have to go down to Destin. We played at a place down there, big place on the outside. I can't remember what it was in the 90s, but big place on the outside, right on the beach, big stage. You can see the ocean from the stage. Really, really cool place in Destin, Florida, right there. One
Glad you're on with us today, Jason.
Thank you for the comment, and I'm glad. I mean, these Viking fans on here are pretty good sports. They know they won the division last year, so they're all laughing at us anyway. One Funky Lions fan says, "Yeah, wait, I thought that the new DC was supposed to be all the Vikings needed to fix the defense."
Right.
What? I mean, it is preseason.
Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong. That's going to help. But you better have a doggone good defensive coordinator when you lose 7 starters on the defense and all your good players. So, yeah, I mean, unless he's going to go up there and suit up and play linebacker, I don't see him having a big enough impact to save the day for the Vikings enough to make the playoffs.
Well, luckily they were the worst defense in the league, so it doesn't take much to, I mean, if they're 29th overall, it's an improvement. So I think Brian Flores is going to improve that defense. I don't think the offense is going to be as good as it was last year with the losses that they had, because Seattle yesterday with their backup guys, they were getting pressure and there wasn't any answer for that. They were getting into the backfield, stuffing runs right off the get. I mean, you need some depth. Calvin says that who cares what the announcers and Detroit will do Detroit things and we'll be fine. Well, Detroit things last year, Detroit things, or Detroit things in the past, because I don't want Detroit
things. We don't want historical Detroit things.
We don't want Detroit things. We want to see the new Lions emerge this year. And here we are, PTSOL. We need 2 years in a row. It'll help. It'll help with the, with this psychiatry of, we need a psychiatrist after being a Lions fan for so many years, because even if you have a winning season, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in this place.
And for those viewers of yours, Russ, who don't know, PTSOL stands for post-traumatic same old Lions. PTSOL is a registered trademark of the Main Event 365, all rights reserved, 2020. Drink responsibly.
Oh gosh, Sebastian. Andrew Booth is low on the depth chart, and I'm not worried about him even making the team.
Wow.
That's interesting. You should be worried about him making a team because he was a high round draft pick for your general manager that you're trying to defend. And if you're missing on high round draft picks, you ain't got a prayer, especially with the way that Ryan Poles has been drafting, the way that that Brad Holmes has been drafting, and even the guy up in Green Bay, he's actually been drafting decently. Got a lot of first round draft picks on that defense.
Gouda. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a very popular video the other day that we threw up on our YouTube, man. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel, but you mispronouncing Gouda during the whole thing, it actually had the most views on any of the videos that we have.
Gouda.
It's like, really?
You like that?
I know there's a K-U-N-T in there somewhere.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
You like that? You like that? You like that? You like that? You like that?
I had to give that one a 5 slow. I had to make sure they all got in there. That was beautiful. What up, guys? It was an interesting night, or it was interesting last night. God, I can't read today. Maybe I can't read at all. I never learned to read.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to have an NFC North team on the television playing football. So, yeah, man, for sure. And I know that those Viking fans are excited, and we're excited for tonight. And I know Packer fans are excited for tonight. Do the Bears even have a preseason game? I mean, are they doing joint practice? I haven't heard anything on the Bears.
The Bears are playing a preseason game tomorrow. So we're not going to hit much of the Bears today. Actually, luckily, we don't have to hit the Bears really until Monday's morning show. But I do know the Hallis Hall Report is going to do a report on this on Sunday, after they have their preseason game tomorrow at 1:00. and they have the last of the preseason game. So we got the Packers versus the Bengals tonight, playing at the same time as the Lions versus the New York Giants. And let us know in the comments who you're looking to see, like your backup guys, because this isn't real game, guys. Like the scores don't matter in this, and it's all about individual matchups and guys trying to climb up roster spots. Who are you looking to have climb up that? Who's your undrafted free agent that's been playing good, like Ivan Pace Jr.? If you want a bright spot from the Minnesota Vikings, Ivan Pace is an undrafted free agent. He's been playing well. He might actually be the starting linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. So there's something.
You like that?
You're a Viking fan, you can hang your hat on a little bit. You got a couple guys that are popping right there. TJ says everybody keeps sleeping on my dog. Marvin Jones, 11 touchdowns this year.
Wow.
11 touchdowns from.
I love that call, TJ. Yeah, everyone is sleeping on Marvin. We barely even talk about him, especially with the additions of Denzel Mims. And, these things are dominating the headlines a lot more than Marvin Jones. So good call. He could be sneaky good and show us that he's got something left in the tank at 31 years old, 32 years old. So,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that as well. He's a savvy veteran. He knows how to get open, and he's a red zone threat.
Yeah, I love the call on Marvin Jones, because one of the cool things about the Lions is I feel they got like three wide receivers, and maybe even four if you count Denzel Mims if he starts coming in there. And then they have this undrafted free agent rookie, Drummond from he's actually from Michigan, and he's vying for these spots too. But there's nobody that's stepping out and saying, I am the number 2 wide receiver. And if everybody's sleeping on Marvin Jones, maybe we should just be saying, hey, it's Marvin. It's Amon-Ra and Marvin Jones. Like, who else is that? I mean, I think Marvin's
I like
a better.
Josh Reynolds.
I do like Josh Reynolds, but Marvin Jones was a number 1 receiver when he was here, and he played well as a number 1 wide receiver. He's got, the veteran part down, and it could be Josh Reynolds too, but I think TJ might be right. We might be sleeping on Marvin Jones because he's a pro. He is a pro. Good call.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Well,
You like that?
I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong drop. I do give a damn. What I meant to say was,
You like that?
I do like that call. Good call. Adam says, I didn't see much to say that Small Pop got anywhere with the trades. My buddy Jason MC fell asleep during the game. He was not impressed. Yeah, I wouldn't feel good about that, but luckily, I mean, the silver lining is it's preseason game 1, okay? You can go back to the tape and you can get better. You can make improvements. You got a couple weeks till you get to the regular season. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't understand the comment, so I'll have to pass on that one.
Oh,
I've read
okay.
it twice, I don't understand it. Who is Small Pop? Is that Corn Pop?
I had to say that Small Pop got anywhere with the trades last year. This year, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's at that, but he's at my buddy Jason MC. I know that he's the Viking fan. He fell asleep during the game and he wasn't impressed. That was the part of the comment that I was commenting back. Sebastian says the first few defensive series, we shut them down. Actually, it wasn't until they started seeing the threes that Drew Lock started torching us.
Yep, that's true. Drew Lock hadn't taken a snap in like 540 days since Drew Lock had taken a live snap, and he did come in and torch them and torch their threes. So it points to the depth, like we said. Like the Vikings are just a couple of injuries away from being a 3-win team this year.
Yeah, and their defense, it's like I know that everybody's going to come at me and say, "Wow, this was my 2s and 3s." None of the starting defensive linemen for Seattle played. And none of they were playing specifically their 2s too. So it was your 2s versus their 2s was kind of like, you hit that because you didn't do shit against them either. There was nothing that was done offensively or defensively until the second quarter started. And then you started seeing some of the points being scored. But that's what this is right here, right? When I'm saying that it wasn't good for the Vikings, we don't know about the starters, okay? This is your depth. Your depth was playing against the depth, and your depth got killed in that game.
Who starts tonight for the Lions at quarterback? I don't think Jared Goff plays tonight.
No, I think it'll be Sudfield and the Adrian.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're just going to run those guys in there. I don't even think Bridgewater's here yet. I mean, I don't think that he would take any type of snaps in there. So, yeah, I think they're going to trot out Sudfield there. The Lions aren't looking to show anything in preseason this year. That's going to be my guess, is they're not going to show anything. They're going to work these roster battles. I think that we're going to see a lot of Starling Thomas. I think that we're going to see a lot of, the second and third string linebackers. Then we'll see some Jack Campbell.
Benny Snell, the new running back, Benny Snell will play. And I'd like to talk about the Justin Jackson retirement too when you get a chance.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's go hit that up. That was pretty big news right there.
Yeah. Such a surprise for such a guy so young. We saw Sony Michel last week do the same thing. Signs a contract with the New England Patriots and a few days later retires. I have a theory, and Justin Jackson would fit into the same theory. Justin Jackson was drafted in 2018, just like Sony Michel. You need 5 years vested in the NFL to get residual compensation for the rest of your life from the NFLPA. And after the new collective bargaining agreement, these huge TV revenue contracts have been split up between the teams and the NFLPA. So retired NFL players basically got a big raise during the last collective bargaining agreement. This was the give and take that the NFLPA gave to the owners to get something back, because we're seeing now the devaluation of the running backs, right? On a 5-year rookie contract with a franchise tag, you're basically using up this guy's entire career. So we see these running backs, Justin Jackson, Sony Michel, they know that there is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow when they get to their second contract. They know it. Why not retire now, save my faculties, save my body, and I'll still get that residual income from the NFLPA? I've got a couple feelers out there to some former NFL players asking him these questions, and hopefully I'll have something to report on Monday night on the NFC North Open Mic Night. So that's my feeling. My guess is that they're just cashing in on the 5-year vesting in the NFLPA. They'll now be entitled to a check for the rest of their life. And why not retire now? Maybe take a position with the Lions in the scouting department or something else, and save yourself. And there's a chance that Justin Jackson wouldn't even make this team, even though the reports out of camp that he's the odds-on favorite to be our number one kick returner and depth at the running back position. So there was a spot on this team for him, but he chose to retire. It's very intriguing. I'd be interested to know what the viewers know or their feelings on it.
That's interesting. It kind of makes my theory on it. I probably should have went first, but I was going to go along. I mean, I thought that maybe he got into that room and, there's Craig Reynolds, there's Ibrahim, there's all these guys that are vying for that number 3 spot, because there's a lot of competition in that room for that number 3 spot, because that Montgomery and Gibbs got the 1 and 2. So, you got guys like Kabinda that are in there, and it's like, man, he might have got in there and said, man, this is going to be a long shot to make this roster. Why should I put my body on the line? I might as well take my vesting. But I actually like your theory better, because I think that Brad Holmes and Campbell would be like, yeah, well, heck yeah, we'll sign you for a few days so you can retire, so you can get your vested part. I could see them doing that just to be cool like that and help them, get their money for the rest of their life, because they deserve it. They deserve it.
That literally 5 or 10 minutes after he retired, they signed Benny Snell from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So adding more bodies to camp, more competition to that running back room. It's going to be super interesting to see how that shakes out when the 53-man roster comes out in a couple of months. So in another month.
And Benny Snell is has been good in reserve when he was at Pittsburgh. You know, he gets to be reunited with his teammate Cameron Sutton. So he's got somebody here that he can, bounce off of.
Clear. Benny Snell is now right in direct competition with Craig Reynolds for that number 3.
Oh, you damn right. I got a piece of content coming out that's got a picture of Craig Reynolds in there. And yeah, let's talk about that third down back. And Craig Reynolds has been really good here. We had his father on the show last year, and he's been a good player here, earned his spot, like worked his way up the ranks, been on a couple of different practice squads in Atlanta and in Jacksonville, and is really one of those blue chipper type of dudes that they love. Like Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell love these type of grinders that just come in and work their tails off. So I think it's going to be hard to push Craig Reynolds off of this roster.
Right. If you remember Hard Knocks last year, Dan Campbell addressed all the coaches when he was trying to make the last cuts. He says, anybody else going to feel sick to their stomach if we lose Craig? I mean, he's just a guy that they love. Justin Jackson, of course, another guy that they love. When Craig Reynolds went down with an injury last year, Justin Jackson stepped in and played great. So it wasn't really a surprise that Justin Jackson signed that contract a couple of weeks ago for me. But then it was quite a big surprise to see him just turn around and retire like that. But like you said, maybe that was all part of the plan. I can see Brad Holmes being that kind of a guy who would do something like that, especially when you look at the sacrifices that these players make for their team, when you consider the long-term effects of all of the smacks to the head and the damage to their body. Howie Long said playing an NFL game is like being run over by a car. So every time you go out there. So, I mean, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and it deserves to be treated with reverence. And I think Brad Holmes does that, and that's why he's so well respected by the players.
Yeah, especially for running backs. They're taking hits and taking hits and taking hits. But yeah, that's a thing, man. I'm definitely going to be watching that tonight. I do expect Craig Reynolds to get some carries tonight. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. I think the Lions' depth is really, really good. So I expect the Lions to dominate this, especially when it gets into like the second, third, fourth quarter, because our depth guys can start on a lot of teams. And I think that those guys are going to be looking to do that, because a couple of the guys that they cut from our team, especially on the defensive line, they're going to go to other teams and they're going to make an impact.
And all of these running backs can't make the roster, right? Mo Ibrahim, I'm really excited. I really hope he makes the team just based on what I saw him do in college. The guy averaged over 100 yards a game in his college career. Really surprising to me that he didn't get drafted. He was the best running back in the Big Ten. And yet we saw 3 or 4 other running backs get drafted, and he didn't. So for him, and the reports are that he had 4 or 5 different offers as an undrafted free agent, and he chose the Lions. So for him to not make the team after choosing the Lions would be real travesty for him. I'm really looking for Time in Motown. And I think we'll see a lot of him tonight.
I love that. Time in Motown. And I love that call because he's the big back. He's got a big body. He loves to run people over. He's got a violent way of running. And I actually saw a comment from the practice that said that he had a run that was so hard that they thought that they might have sent a couple of the Giants to the hospital with how hard he put his shoulder into him. So I love hearing stuff like that. Oh yeah. They said he is a vicious runner who's trying to make this team.
I'll tell you what this might signal, especially the signing of Benny Snell. It might signal the end of Jermar Jefferson. He did leave practice the other day with an injury. We haven't heard anything about that yet. But this might be the first Brad Holmes draft pick to be sent out the door.
Yeah, man, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's going to be a hard cuts this year. Way harder than last year. They talked about it on the Hard Knocks. But looks like Rob's in here. Jordan Love is struggling with reading defenses in practice and throwing picks, and the critics have Love mixed reviews. I hope Love dies well. I think he means does well. That's kind of funny. I hope he dies well. And but I have lots of doubts personally, and don't think that he'll make it.
Rob doesn't think he'll make it. One thing that's interesting is we talked about we don't think Jared Goff will play at all tonight. I fully expect Jordan Love to play against the Bengals tonight just to get the reps. The reps are so important, right?
Right.
Goff has plenty of reps under his belt. We don't need to trot him out there and risk an injury. But I fully expect Justin Fields to play in the preseason, and I fully expect Jordan Love to play in the preseason. Just to get those reps that are crucial for a young quarterback's development. And when day one, I think Jordan Love's going to be pretty good, man. I mean, all these reports we hear out of there, you know what? This is training camp. He's got a big arm. He's mobile. They drafted him high. I really think he's going to be pretty good, and the Packers are going to compete for the division title against the Lions.
Right. So I'm going to go through some of these comments, kind of a rapid fire here to try to catch us up, because I see that this comment right here is like 11:18. That was almost like a half an hour ago right there. So Woody says, what's up, guys? Rob says, and thanks, Woody. I'm sorry that we're not doing a lot of Bears. This is probably awful for you. But Robert says, LMAO, you 30-year losers can't jack at all. Jack all you want. We all know the truth.
I got to address that. Robert, it's 60 years. Okay? Get it right.
60 years. We all know the truth. You can jack jaw all you want. You know, we can jack jaw.
Damn right.
We want, because you know why? Because the previous 29 years before you were talking about that didn't encapsulate last year, where we beat the Packers twice in the season. You guys can jack jaw all you want, but bring it, because you're going to lose 2 more this year. Bear Down Mike says, I will bash the Packers 24/7 like we just did. Hey, Packers fan from Sammy. We got Adam says, yes, Rob, we know we are a serious team to deal with, and I don't believe you or anyone in the division can stop us Lions. Yeah, we've been there. We're like this Charlie Brown and Lucy thing, man. We have to break this trend. It is not going to happen this year. We're going to put 2 good seasons together in a row. I don't know if it's ever happened. Ever. So that's what we're going to try to do this year. We got some people saying hi to each other in the comments. I like that. What up, Eric? What up, Chad? So Bear Down Mike, you guys are seeing each other in here. Your worst team this year, Rob. Okay, we got some Jack John going on here. Recent Detroit things. Let's see. Going in. Hey, Mike, go ahead and give me a take on something. I'm going to highlight a couple of these comments.
Yeah, we're gonna come out with a new show called Jaw Jacking with Mike and Russ, and it's going to be for all Packer fans who don't believe that and I'd like to throw that out to Robert. Tell us, Robert, when will it be okay for us to jaw jack? When we win a division? When we win a conference, when we win a Super Bowl, you tell me when it will be acceptable for us to jaw jack. Because finishing with a winning record is a huge thing for a Detroit Lions fan, okay? Having free agents that want to come to Detroit is huge for us. Yeah, we might even hang a banner for beating the Packers 3 in a row, okay? So we are not going to apologize for jaw jacking for the little bit of success that our team has had. And I'm almost finished with the song, Russ, that I'm writing, by the way. I've decided to title the song Blow Pack Blow. And I'll give you the first verse. It is, I wash my hands of these douchebag fans. No, I forgot the rest. Anyway. Blow pack blow, blow pack blow.
Oh, my gosh. Detroit with John Kapler says, I want to see Levi play 2 quarters.
Good call.
This is such a good surprise, and that's why I wanted to bring this comment up first. And thank you for the comment, John. Levi is one of those guys that we forgot about, and we didn't forget about him, but we kind of wrote him off. A lot of the outlets around here have written him off, that said the back injuries. I've even heard that it was something that was going to send him into retirement, that we were just going to have to kind of deal with him not being here. And the fact that he has a shot to make this team, and he's repping ahead of Chris Covington right now, that he's moved his way up the depth chart a little bit. I
love that call by John Kapler.
Like that.
I want to see Levi play just 2 series, and just to see him walk out on the field in a uniform will be great for this kid. Highly touted coming out of Washington. We loved the pick at the time. We knew he had an injury problem, but it really come to bite us that he's missed so much time. So now to see him back fully healthy, ready to play, it's great. I hope the kid shows out, and I hope he becomes what Brad Holmes thought he could become.
I love that call right there. And then we got some, they're making fun of us a little bit on here. Robert says, what do you mean, Russell? Is the Lions have nothing to show? We have everything to show, man. Like we've proven nothing over the years, but like every other Homer Lions fan, like me and Mike, we're going to sit up here and we're going to go, no, but this is the year. This is the year that it turns around. Like we're here right at the beginning, and this is the time, right?
Yeah. Robert, you're absolutely right, Robert. Yours used to be good. They used to be really good.
Yeah, man. It is true. I mean, what are you going to say about all these guys? I got to go back down here to some that the ones down here at the at the bottom here. Last 12 games, Detroit won 7 and 3 in a row against the Pack. We ain't worried about them.
Right.
Well,
we've won 7 out of 12. That's a great call out, Brent.
Yeah, that's we ain't worried about them. That makes one of us right there. Like it is the Packers, man. It's like they are the Packers until they're not the Packers. We've got a run now. This is 3 in a row. So now the Packers are in this spot where they have to prove it, right? And this is weird for me to even say this, but at 3 in a row, it's kind of like our Ohio State-Michigan rivalry right here. This is the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. I promise my singing will be better tonight at Jester's at 6 till 9 o'clock, Richfield Center Road, Flint, Michigan. And I am worried about until it isn't. It is until it isn't, right? But if you guys lose both of these games, if the Lions are to sweep the Packers again this year, then you're done talking. Then you're in the back of the line. It's in the danger zone right now for you, Packer fan.
And by the way, I'd like to issue a warning to all the Packer fans. If you think it's bad now, the way we are beating our chest and screaming it from the rooftops, you just wait till this time next year if we do win the division, if we do make a playoff run. You guys are never going to hear the end of it. In fact, I expect most Packer fans will drop off and drop out of the groups and go into witness protection if they have a down year this year.
Oh, man.
I'm getting fired up for Monday now. I really wish Robert would come on Monday nights. I really do.
You want Robert to come on? You calling out Robert on Monday?
Challenge if you like.
Well, yeah, go. Yeah. Issue the challenge and hold on. Let me throw up the deal right here. Let me find it. I gotta find. There you go. Go ahead and plug the show. And
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in my Dusty Rhodes voice. It's the NFC North open mic every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We talk a lot of smack. Bring it. All 4 fan bases. Leave your thin skin at the door. Come in and get some. Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm the American Dream. Main event Mike.
You're gonna have to work on main event, Mike. You're gonna have to work on that South Louisiana talking right there. The American Dream.
Dusty Rhodes is from Texas.
Dusty Rhodes. The American Dream. Cody Rhodes is doing well right now in the WWE, making a push to become the Universal Champion. That's my only WWE. We talk all football in here.
Nate Sudfeld sucks. Well, he shares that opinion with our friend Jeremy Ballwright from the South Florida Tribune, who thinks Sudfeld sucks. Maybe that's why they brought in Teddy Bridgewater and drafted Hendon Hooker. Maybe he does suck. We're going to find out tonight. I expect him to start the game tonight. I hope you're wrong, because backup quarterback is very important in this league.
Brent right here says our depth is huge. Who starts on the other side of Hutch? Is it Josh? Let's talk about that for a second. I'll chime in because I had something right away on this. Is in camp, it's been Kaminsky. The commish and Hutchinson have been dominating those. They're on the opposite sides. Houston is more of a pass rushing specialist, and I think if he can slide into that role where he's coming in on obvious second down passing downs and third down, you're keeping him fresh and everything. And Josh is great depth.
I think it's Josh and it's Charles Harris.
Oh, and Charles Harris.
Right? I think it's Charles Harris and Josh Pascal on the other side. They love to play Charles Harris at the jack linebacker also, and James Houston as well. So on the defensive line, on early downs, I think we see Pascal, Kaminsky, or Charles Harris. But it's going to be very interesting to see what the final depth chart shakes out to be.
I love that. Thank you for the call right there, Brent. That? And let's go in here. Justin Fields will play one series, according to Bear Down Mike.
Okay.
And now, is that a report, or is that a spoiler alert? Is that your opinion, or is that something that you've actually heard out in the world?
Yeah, and that's how I asked. I asked the Bear fans what's going on out there. What have we heard? So, and Bear Down Mike reporting that, I believe that's what he's doing, is responding to that, saying that Justin Fields, the report probably is that Justin Fields will play one series. And
so thank you for the report, Bear Down Mike. And John Wick says Love will play about 3 series tonight. So that's actually more than I thought that they would get out of him. But yeah, they probably do need to get him some reps in there and get him out there. So thank you for the call on that, John Wicks. Brent says Love a top 20, a Fields a top 15, just a guess. Okay. So you're thinking that Fields is going to be better than Love right there, a little bit better. So you think that they're both going to be kind of middle of the pack quarterbacks, and that's fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You like that?
Maybe a double on that. Thank you for the comment on that.
That still makes them the 3rd and 4th best quarterbacks in the division.
That's right. That's right. One funky Lions fan says, I never liked him. What's funny is I got called a racist for saying a while. I have Lance, and the other comment, I would have loved to make fun of Fields, but what I don't like about him is the arm speed.
Yeah, he takes that long windup, right?
Yep.
Like the opposite of Aaron Rodgers or the opposite of Lamar Jackson, where they get it out real quick, or Dan Marino, right? It's that long mechanics, and yeah, I agree with him on that.
Yeah,
you're for MVP. Love it, you're all.
Yeah, we have our Lions homers on here too, and we appreciate you.
Like it up or love it up.
Win the Super Bowl, Detroit Lions. I love it. We got Milwaukee, Wisconsin up in the full shizzle. What's going on?
You like that?
I like having the opposite fan bases in here. I love having our Lions fans in here. We are Lions homers. We expect the Lions fans to come in, but when you're a fan of the other team and you can put up with us running our mouths on here, and we try to keep it. I mean, we are pretty objective on here, and we try to give you props where you deserve props and everything like that. So that's
Russ, are we going to go live tomorrow morning to recap the game or no?
We are. We have to do that. You called me out yesterday. I think it's a good call. I mean, we got to review the game.
Great. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to break that down. You're going to be at Gestures tonight, right?
I will.
You'll be on stage singing when the ball kicks off. I'll be out in the crowd, and I'll just I'll hold up cards and tell you what's happening while you're up there on stage.
Well, luckily, every bar on the face of planet Earth has 75 TVs in it, so I can probably have them run the game right in the back of the bar where I can see it, and I'll be like, against the, oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, God.
Hey, I got to jump off. Can I plug the show?
Oh, always.
August
Go ahead.
17th, it is the return of the Main Event 365 podcast show. We'll be broadcasting live into Facebook, recording the show, and then you can find it anywhere where you find your podcasts. It's the Main Event 365 podcast show. It's a 1 hour of Detroit Lions comment. We dial back the trash talk and we try to get serious and talk to Lions fans. And if you other fan bases want to play the spy and come peek in on it, you're welcome as well. Main Event 365 football talk every Thursday night around 7:30 Eastern PM. We will be broadcasting live into Facebook. It's the NFC North Open Mic night, also on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for having me on, Russ. Your show is great. Thanks to all your viewers. God bless you all.
Well, that is Main Event Mike right there, coming in and chiming in again. And we are setting up for some great preseason action, and I can't wait for the regular season. I know everybody's getting it. So I'm going to throw the link into the comments and invite y'all on here like I do every morning and give everybody a chance to come on here. And we'll talk a little bit of football right there. I need to reread. Evidently, I need to reread Robert's comment right there, talking about being jaw-jacked. Let's see. Let me get in here. I start a couple of these comments. Andrew says Anzalone and Barnes are starting linebackers. As of right now, you are correct. Right now, it is when it comes to Dan Campbell, the way that they have people earn their starting jobs. The rookies can earn starting jobs. It does happen. Last year, Malcolm Rodriguez was able to earn a starting job, and Alex Anzalone had his best year as a pro, which makes him above average linebacker. I'm not going to go totally off on that, but he did have his best year as a pro, and him and Derek Barnes has been playing his ass off in training camp. And, Jack Campbell's going to be backing him up, or he's going to be backing up Jack Campbell. So I like that call. I do. Alex and Anzalone and Derek Barnes going to be starting linebackers. That's cool, because we run that 4-2-5, so we only start 2 linebackers, and then we have 3 safeties underneath of that look. Bear Down Mike says, one funky Lions fan. Bears can talk when it's the last time Detroit had won 10 games, won the North, never won a Super Bowl. Oh, wait, no, you got us there, Bear Down Mike. We've never won. The Lions are hungry to win one of those, and this is the best chance that the Lions have had ever. This is the best roster I've ever seen from top to bottom, 1 to 53 ever in the history of me watching the Lions. Even better than the 91 team, better than any team that Barry Sanders was on. This team is better than any team that Barry Sanders was on. I'm not saying that the running backs are better than Barry Sanders, but the Lions have had a couple of good teams in the past that have had some star players on it that were good from the starting lineups, but every single one of the teams had trouble with depth. And this is the deep team. This is the deepest Lions team in history for the Lions. And maybe Bear Down Mike is right. Maybe that isn't even saying much. The best Lions team in history. It's like, okay, who cares, right? Right? Calvin says, I want to see Martin eat. Man, that's looking like a good pick. That's looking like a good pick in the 3rd round. They traded up in the 3rd round, and they got a nose tackle, a big man, a man's man. This is a man's world. Yeah. Martin, 335 pounds, 6'4" of FU. Get out. I mean, what are you going to do about it? 6'4", 335 pounds of what the hell are you going to do about it? Nothing. He's working his way up that depth chart. Marvin Jones Jr. equals Nate Burleson, both average at best. That's fair. Like I said earlier, I believe the Lions have 3 number 3 wide receivers, and one of them is going to step into that number 2 role, right? It is what it is. And I think Laporta is actually going to be more of the number 2 wide receiver when you're looking at a stellar tight end, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as the 2 top pass catchers. but the number 2 wide receiver is probably going to be the number 3 option. Maybe even the number 4 option if you count Jahmyr Gibbs in that. Woody says, I want to see Roschon running behind right. Now, right there, Roschon has already put himself into the category of maybe winning that starting job. They called it a 3-headed monster in the article that I read on the Chicago Bears. So let me throw that out there, to Bear fan. Bear down, Mike. Do you think that Roschon has a chance to actually win that starting job? Urel Jackson asked, is Jahmyr Gibbs gonna play today? I don't know. I wouldn't know. Maybe for a series or something like that out there. I think they want to get the rookies some playing time. All right. Did I lose everybody? Stream is down, but the stream is back up. Give me the Skull Ambassador. The Skull Ambassador is going to come in and save the day.
What's going on, bro?
Using my phone Wi-Fi, so Xfinity gets another FU from me. You guys can suck it. You guys can suck it. Getting that 2,000 megabyte or whatever, the really good internet, and you keep on kicking me out. Just give me my money back.
Yeah, I got the same thing, Russ. When it's crazy about Xfinity, it'd be perfect as hell for a whole month, and then every once in a while, it just starts fucking up.
Yeah, bam, out of nowhere. So I'm glad that you came on here. I wanted to hear a Viking fan come in and tell me what you thought about yesterday's. I mean, we're not going to overreact here. We didn't overreact. I don't think we did.
I loved it, man. It was perfect. The guys that I want to see, I saw it from, man. Now, obviously, we want to continue to, the game plan to continue, man. We want to even with the depth and the rookies, even though the starters are out there, you want to see the guys perform all 4 quarters. But like I said yesterday, man, it's not about win or loss when it comes to this preseason thing, man. It's more about seeing what you got, seeing who could possibly make the roster, the kind of depth you got, and leaving with no injuries, man. I saw Lewis Seen flying to the ball. That's a guy I've been looking for this year. I keep trying to tell you guys. You guys remember what I told you, Russell, about that guy, that boy Ty Chandler, our running back, right? You remember? Yeah. I just want to reiterate that so that when he gets to shining, oh, Skull, man, you didn't say nothing about that. You never said anything. I'm telling you, man. We're going to go by committee. We're going to go by committee this year, but I'm telling you, I'm willing to go on wax saying, man, this defense is still a question mark, even though I like what I've seen from a couple of guys. Ivan Pace Jr., Mekhi Blackman, the rookie, even impressed me a little bit, you know, the way he was guarding the deep balls that came his way. But I'm telling you right now, man, Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, it's gonna be like they were never here, man. I'm telling you that right now.
Wow. I mean, I don't think that I saw as much out of Ty Chandler as you and Mike did. I'm looking at the line. He had a couple nice runs, but none of them that really, it didn't really stand out to me. And then I looked at the box score, and then he's only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. He's going to need to do better than that if you want him to be the kind of guy that you're talking about.
No, he was getting slippery out there, Russell. If they would have kept pounding him, he would have unloaded. He'd have went for 100 that last night for sure. But I was surprised. I didn't know he could catch out the backfield as good as he did. Now, I want to see when the starting offensive line is out there. That's when I'll really be able to see what's going on.
I think he cut out at the very, very end of that.
Oh no! Well, I was just saying, man. Like I said, we all know Dalvin Cook's top 5, man. But I'm anxious to see what Kevin O'Connell can do still without these guys, man. I think he's smart enough of a coach to make up for that. Did you notice? Obviously he's hiding some. Did you notice Flores' style of play yesterday?
Yeah, he likes to blitz a lot.
And I like it. I like the aggressive. I like the aggressive fit. I'm pretty sure he's not showing it all, but he's got to be careful with that shit too.
Yeah, he does.
Because you can get, when you come across a nice offensive line that just not going for it, and that pass rush ain't getting there, and the blitz ain't getting there, bro, you'll get your ass torched, man.
Yep, you'll get eaten alive if you try that shit against Detroit. And that's just.
Well, what I like about it, Russell, yeah. Hell yeah. You better at least try to find one weak link or something, or just have one guy having a bad day or something. One thing I like about it, it lets me know that other than the guy, I forgot the guy we had last year named Donatel. It lets me know that unlike that guy, if shit's not going good, he's at least we're going down swinging this year. This defense, they're not just going to sit there in the shell and just let you car their ass up. The last game versus the Lions was a perfect example. The blitz didn't get there. The edges couldn't do a goddamn thing. So what Goff do? He's just tearing us up across the middle.
Yep, and that all has to do. And I love giving Jared Goff all the, all of the credit and everything. That it ain't Jared Goff. He gets to sit back there and sip lemonade and have a good time in the backfield, dude. I mean, you can take an average quarterback and you can make him really, really good by protecting him because all these quarterbacks can ball. All these quarterbacks can ball in this league, and if you give time, oh man, this thing is really pissing me off today, dude. I every time I see that little
pause, little freeze,
oh god, I want to go yell. I want to go yell at somebody. I want to see if I can pop back into if my home is. My home isn't even showing up still. Damn,
you're pretty clear now.
I apologize to everybody that's out there. One of these days, we're going to be able to afford good internet connections and everything. Mike's getting a good camera that he's going to have for Monday. We're getting ready for this season. It's our preseason too, so we're still figuring shit out on our show. We're trying.
Hell yeah.
We're trying to figure it. So, but you were overall pleased with what you saw from the depth, because I can make fun of you all day, but I wouldn't say overall, but there's a couple guys that, I was paying attention to, like single positions. There's a couple guys that were supposed to be, coming on this year that I wasn't impressed with. I forgot how to say it. Kyrisis Tonga, the big defensive lineman guy, the big tackle we got. He's pretty strong out there. He can fill a gap, but man, he's slow as hell, man. He looks like, and he needs a breather every 2 goddamn plays. That ain't gonna work. Right. Right. And that's where, like, when I make fun of your team, it comes from this place where I don't care about the score. I don't care that you lost the game. I'm not going to make fun of you for losing the game.
Oh, of
But
course.
what I am going to say is what you're seeing is your depth. And what happened at the end of that game is your depth showed up or didn't show up, and you got killed by the other team's depth. So if you have a couple injuries,
They put Jaron Hall in there, Russell.
Jerry Rice.
Oh,
At that time, dude.
I thought he left.
No, they had Nick Mullins got the cook in their ass. I was surprised. Because that's my first real action I've seen of him. People got the trolling saying he should be the starter, but no. After they threw a rookie quarterback in there, I pretty much knew the sample size had ran out.
Yeah, I'll give you. I mean, I'm not going to tout Mullins for anything. He had a couple good throws, but what I did like is I liked that one catch that Addison had on the sidelines with the toe tap. I think that they probably could have called that a catch. I think looking pretty good.
I would like to think that if it was the regular season instead of preseason, that KOC challenges that. I would like to think that. But at the same time, Russell, they starting already, man. We should have the refs got to be able to see that shit. We shouldn't have to challenge plays like that, man. And that wasn't that close, man. That was a clear catch to me.
Right. What's going on, Woody?
Say hello to my lip.
How are you
My
guys?
guy.
Jamez, you homing piece of shit.
That's what they say, man. I haven't understood why they've said that over the years.
I could say why.
Why is it, man?
Because you just praised Nick Mullins and he's junk.
Well, shit, man. Sometimes you just got to roll with what you got.
That is right. Oh my gosh, I gotta leave pretty soon. I got like 10 more minutes before I gotta get out.
Why?
But then there's Sebastian. Man, is this the first time I've had you on here?
Scroll, bro.
Hey, yeah. What's up?
We got Sebastian on here. He's always in the comments.
Am I a
Always.
robot?
Are you a robot? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Sebastian.
can hear you.
All right. But Sebastian's always got good comments. He's always been on these lives, putting in good comments for the Minnesota Vikings. Give me your thoughts on what you saw yesterday.
Okay, so I feel like the opinion on depth is wrong from you guys, particularly because I think the wide receiver position has a bunch of depth. Cornerback has more depth than I thought. Safety is loaded, especially if we're seeing Lewis Seen as our fourth stringer. By the way, I hated how he looked last night. It was horrible. Go ahead.
You didn't like how Lewis Seen looked last night?
No.
I mean, a couple of his tackles were up top. I'll give you that.
He got run over like 5 times.
He's physical enough for the NFL. I think, and he's showing it out loud.
It's funny because he's supposed to be physical. He's supposed to be this big physical, hitter, but
Yeah, he's supposed to be a smack layer.
he just hasn't shown that. I mean, I get he's injured last year, but he just hasn't shown that his physical traits like what they were supposed to be.
Right. So how does that translate into depth that the guys that you're counting on aren't performing?
Because the guys that we thought were trash are actually stepping up. And that's gonna sound pretty bad to you guys. But like Josh Metellus has been on the team for a really long time, and he's really a force to be reckoned with in this Brian Flores defense. We were playing really base last night. Of course, it's preseason. He's not going to show his stuff, but I think once that defense is out there, it's really going to open some eyes week 1 when we destroy Baker Mayfield. I mean, I think it's going to be like 35-7 week 1.
And you know what? what a good draw for you guys. You guys get Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about
that's
getting
fair.
right.
Yeah.
That is a nice fire yourself test.
And we get him. We get them week 2.
And the Chargers and the Chiefs. So 49ers. It doesn't get good after that.
No, the next 4 weeks after that is through 3 hard games. I think it's Carolina, the Chargers, Philly.
Philly
Yeah, Philly right after them on the road.
Philly sucks.
Well, Sebastian has about as good of a connection on this on this internet as I do, but I actually, I mean, when it comes into this stuff right here, my wife calls right here, but my wife's going to a job interview right now, and I actually got to cut you guys short on this because she left me this little guy right here that says she's leaving right now, and my son's downstairs, and but I do want to give Woody a chance to plug his show, but I got to let you guys all go. We're live tomorrow in the morning. Going to do a bonus segment right here so we can talk about the Packers, we can talk about the Lions game. But go ahead and plug your show.
Our show is Hallis Hall Report, Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays at 7:30 Central Standard Time and Sundays 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until the season starts, though, we're only doing our Sunday show. Come join us and talk some Bears football.
Right on. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I don't even know if you can hear what's coming out right now because that was choppy as well.
I can hear you.
I apologize for all of if there was a bunch of crap like that during this. We're going to work on trying to get our internet in there. Feel free to like and share this content because that actually helps us get into other networks and all of this type of. Hopefully we'll have, a better connection for you here in the future as soon as possible. But we got the Lions versus the Giants tonight, Packers versus the Bengals tonight. We actually have preseason action. So thank you, everybody that came on here today talking football. August 11th. Oh my God, it's a dog days of summer and we're talking football, and we appreciate every one of you guys for jumping on here. God bless each and every one of you. See you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. One Pride.
Peace out.